All right, Tony Wallow, good to see you. Hope you're having decent weather on this Wednesday night. We're having 60-mile-an-hour plus winds. The internet's gone out twice. Power's gone out twice. Of course, I guess. Sounds good, Jeff. Good to see you. I guess when the power goes out, it only stands to reason that the internet would go out as well. So, gotta deal with what you gotta deal with. I'm gonna change this around a little bit. Yeah, I got somewhat of an answer for you, Robert, on the message you sent me. I think it's best that we just get together with everyone and figure it out. So, looks like Greg's here. Looks like Blackwatch is here. Now, I will have to find someone to take over, maybe hosting. Yeah, battery backups might be the way to go, honestly. Just if nothing else, I don't. Battery backups is cool for the computers and whatnot, but when the internet goes out, there is nothing I can do about that.
For sure.
I'm just at the mercy. Hey, Greg. I'm just at the mercy of everyone doing a job or doing their job and getting things back up. Now, I got lucky tonight. Wasn't that long. It was almost as if it felt like someone was flipping a switch and just, playing games or whatever. But I anticipate it'll go out again. If I assign someone to the hosting, what would happen if I go over here? Wow, Blackwatch left, so it looks like right now, if I were to get kicked out, it would go to Greg. So that's good. That means if you guys are talking, then you guys don't get kicked out of Zoom. So that's good. I probably better turn off my... Yeah, it should, Robert. If I could figure out a way, the router's in there, I may have to move it in here. But I suspect the internet company itself may have lost power. I don't know. I haven't verified that yet. But yeah, if looking at maybe go down the scenario if it's just local internet, or not local internet, local power, which router's out, no power, no internet, backup, yeah, that might work. I need to go shut off the Coles County. I'm listening to the scanner. It's been an interesting night listening to these guys. I feel sorry for them. Literally, a 90-year-old lady reports trash can blowing across her yard. What can they do, They got to go out there and help them. All right, let me go turn that off. I can just hit stop, I think. Yeah, that'll take care of that. Go back to there. 3 people watching. Tony, Jeff, and Robert. Now we're up to 4. I wonder why Blackwatch left. Hope he's alright. We were supposed to get together right after I got home from having dinner with Lorna, but the first power outage made me realize maybe that wasn't going to happen, and the second one was like, not even going to attempt this. So how's Greg today? You look tired?
Yeah, a little bit. I didn't sleep but about 2 hours, and then got up about 6 o'clock, had some coffee, turned on the news, and fell asleep on the couch, woke up at 11:30. Been like that all day.
I've got on my San Diego shirt today.
Oh, yeah?
According to Ron Burgundy, it's San Diego, so today I thought I'd wear my San Diego shirt. I don't know if you've seen that movie or not, but it's hilarious. You gotta be a Will Ferrell fan, though, I think.
Doesn't sound familiar.
He plays a newscaster, and he literally reads whatever's on the prompt, and they play games with him and whatnot. It's real funny. Him and Christine Applegate, she's in it. They have a thing. It's about the competitiveness of the news world, part of it, and just stupidity's another part of it. It's interesting. The update on my brother today is the oxygen was lowered. to 60%. He's still on the CPAP, but his lungs, his O2 is at 95, which is a great number, acceptable.
Yeah.
But that's with the CPAP at 60%. You take the CPAP off and it drops below 70. Hey, Jeff.
Hey,
So he's not out of
yeah. When I had it, my lowest was 78.
Yeah.
Probably should have gone to the hospital. I didn't.
Yeah, that's well. From what I understand, they forced him to go finally.
Well, I don't know what it was. When I was diagnosed, I went to a local ER. We got a whole bunch of small ERs all around the valley now, separate from the hospitals.
Right.
So that you don't normally have to wait a long time at a big ER. And I walked in there and I was seen within 5 minutes. And after all was said and done, the doctor said, you might want to think about going to the hospital, but I'm not going to say you have to.
Right.
So I told him, well, I'll see how I do. But the problem was I had nobody I could depend upon to help my wife at home.
Right. Right.
My daughter's here some of the time, but to be straightforward about it, she isn't always reliable.
Sure. Yeah.
And I took a shot, and I don't remember what my oxygen was in the ER. It was, I think, 80 something. But after I went home the next day or two, at the worst, it dropped to 78.
Yeah. I think he'll get over it. I really do. It's just going to take a lot of time. They're going to have to wean him. They're going to have to get his oxygen on the CPAP down to where it's not doing the majority of the work and his numbers stay good. And then when they take it off, his numbers stay good too. So I want to send a quick email while I'm thinking about it.
Hey, Robert came in.
Yeah, I seen that.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, how you doing?
A little better than last night. We were running so late last night, I never got to the Zoom meeting.
Yeah, I had a quiet day today. I didn't sleep good last night. I was telling Ken. I went to bed right after the Zoom meeting, tossed and turned, lightly slept. Next thing I know, it was 6 o'clock. I got up, put the coffee pot on, the hell with it. Slept on the couch most of the day.
Well, last night I slept on the couch, and my daughter was out late, and so my granddaughter Olivia, I had on the other part. We have an L-shaped couch, and she's still small enough she can go on the short section. So I got her to sleep there, and then I slept on the long section, so if she woke up, she'd have somebody there.
Hey, Matthew Camp's in the chat room. Good evening. Good to see you. Yeah, we got two couches. One of them's barely 6 feet, and one of them's eight or 9 feet, and I don't sit on the 6 feet couch at all. There's no sense in it because I'd overhang by 4 inches. So I don't know if you guys, I don't know if I told you guys or not. No, I didn't because I just found that out. This morning I weighed 248, my morning weight. So I've cracked the 250 mark.
All right.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. And then just for grins, after I ate breakfast, I thought I weighed 248.3 before breakfast, and I weighed 249.8 after breakfast. So 2 sausages,
Not bad.
2 sausages, 3 eggs, and a bowl of grits is what did it. Well, I have to record everything right now, which is kind of stupid, but that's just what they want me to do. It's not the first time I've had to do this, but I'll try to be a little bit more diligent about it this time. If I could get out and walk, I would probably get to a little bit lower weight, but the walking aspect.
A few years ago, I was walking quite a bit, and I dropped quite a little bit of weight over a few months. At my heaviest, well, I'm 5'9", and at my heaviest, I was 222.
I'd love to be 222 right now.
and I got down to, I think, 194, I think, while I was walking. And then life intervened and I sort of quit walking, which I shouldn't have. And so now I'm around 210, sort of stable around there.
I finally got the scales from the VA, and hopefully they're accurate. I mean, we'll see.
Well, I'm not sure it's so important to be as accurate as to be consistent.
True. Well, I argued with him that I'm not a big numbers person. I go off of how my clothes fit. If my clothes are not tight and they're falling off, I'm happy. But they're kind of like, well, we want to know what the number is. So I'm like, the number's not an accurate indication of, how I feel about everything. If my shirt, this shirt, my San Diego shirt, by the way, yeah, see, Jeff got it. It's about 15 years old, and as you can see, it's sagging a little bit, so that's good. Now, I think part of that's due to old age. I really do. Speaking of old age, I really just probably shouldn't have done this, but I just had a very good old age moment at Walmart because there were no cashiers, and I let the one little person that was there watching over everyone check themselves out that I did not appreciate that. And she literally goes, "No, but sir, I'm the only one here." So, and I did unleash on her, and I probably should have went back and said I'm sorry, but it just hit me wrong, We didn't have many things. Fortunately, we didn't have to weigh anything, but I don't mind doing it if they give me a percentage, a discount of doing it. I'm doing someone's job.
Yeah.
Why? And then she goes, "We just don't have anybody." And I again, it was a senior moment where I said, "Oh, bullshit. There's 5 people back there standing with their thumb up their asses doing nothing but talking crap. And you're telling me you don't have anybody?" And then she literally broke out in tears and goes, "Oh, sir, I'm the only one here." I'm like, "Oh, whatever." And then I said, "Well, who's your manager?" "Oh, he's retiring in February." I'm like, "Well, he ought to retire tomorrow." So
I don't know. I guess that sort of thing doesn't bother me, having to do your own stuff. I don't know why.
yeah.
Do like I tell them, I'm going to go online to corporate and report your store.
Yeah, I've talked to the corporate. I've gone right up the chain. I've done it the way you're supposed to do it. I don't know where else to go next. Maybe go to the local TV stations. I'm sure they know the deal already. Yeah. At times, Jeff, I don't. But the more I've thought about it.
Well, I mean, I understand the argument against it. They're saving money by having you check your shelf out so they don't have to hire as many cashiers.
Right.
I mean, I understand the argument.
And then if they would take and put that person as a stalker, that's fine. But the shelves are empty. And I kid you not, there were 5 of them standing around a pallet with their hands up on the cardboard. "Hey, did you see Bill the other day?" "Oh, yeah. Did you see Mary?" I'm like,
Well, my wife's cousin in South Carolina was a Walmart manager for years. And he just finally got to where he couldn't take it anymore. And he got out and he's doing drug counseling now.
Well, I'm sure the workforce
and enjoying it much more.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure workforce has
people.
changed. It really has. All right, what's going on with my lag here? Oh, not bad.
What burns me about Walmart is you get there, you got all your stuff in the cart, and there's 3 cashiers, but there's 36 lanes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that one. Yeah. And I was sad to see Kmart sort of go under. I don't know if there's a Kmart store anyplace right now.
I don't think there is.
There may be a handful. But when we lived in Tennessee for years and years and years, if I could buy it at Kmart, I bought it at Kmart just to give Walmart some competition.
Yeah.
And then Sears acquired Kmart and everything went to hell.
According to Google, Kmart is closing all but 6 of its remaining stores by the end of 2021.
Oh, well.
And it's not saying where those 6 stores are going to be.
Well, hell, they may as well shut them all down then.
Sure. I mean,
I don't remember who it was. There was some guy who became the CEO of Sears and Kmart 2, 3, 4 years ago, who just ran what was left of it in the ground. And it just,
Probably did it for tax purposes.
so
yeah.
I don't know how popular we're going to be tonight. I have a technical question for people tonight.
There is a technical question. Whoa, let me jump back to Zoom.
A computer technical question.
Okay. Who's going to ask it?
Me.
Go ahead.
Okay, I needed to install some software updates today. Right, and the way my computer is set up, I have an administrator account, and then I have an account for me and for my wife and for my daughter that are just regular user accounts.
Right.
So I don't install anything off of those, and I don't run from the administrator account. A lot of people say it doesn't really matter, but I'm kind of old school on that, and just anyway. So I downloaded all the software updates I want, and I do that from my regular user account, and I have a folder I stick them all in. And I said, okay, before I install this, I'm going to reboot, simply so I don't have any crap hanging in memory someplace I don't know about or whatever.
Right.
Start from clean. So I reboot. Okay, so I reboot and I log into the administrator account and I install the software. And then after I'm done, sometimes I just want to reboot again, simply to have a clean start after everything's installed. And I go to reboot and I see that my regular user account I'm still logged into, even though I had rebooted. And I can't figure that one out. Why was I still logged into my regular user account? I rebooted, shut down, restart. I mean, I didn't shut down, but I did restart.
Right.
And that should have logged me out of my regular user account, I would have thought.
Think so.
But when I'm in the administrator account, everything installed fine, and I'm done, I'm going to restart again and get this message about somebody else is logged in. And I look, and it's me in my regular user account. And I go, what? So anyway, I log back into it and reboot from it again, whatever. But it's a curiosity question.
Sure.
I mean, nothing went wrong, whatever. But why am I still logged into my regular user account
that
when
I don't
restarted?
know. And that's why I only have one user on the computer, me. Nobody else. There's no need for it here. I mean, I understand your situation, though. And it's funny you should bring up technical, because when I was driving to pick up Lorna, I'm thinking, I'm going to write a little comedy movie, and it's going to star Doug and me. And it's going to be technical based. I'm going to have to figure out how I want to do it, but it's going to be, the title's going to be, instead of Dazed and Confused, it's going to be Confused and Not Knowing What I'm Doing, or Not Knowing What I'm Doing Because I'm Confused. I got to kind of work out the logistics a little bit.
I assume you got all the stuff figured out that you wanted to with Doug. I saw
Pretty
you
much.
posted he posted the stuff that you and he worked on. I didn't watch all of it. To be honest with you, I watched part of it.
We got a lot. We got the main thing accomplished, which was I wanted to know if you changed your name as a moderator, does that mod status go with your new name? And it does.
Good.
Yeah.
You're just making a name change.
Just making a name change, right?
And that moderator status is associated to the name that you're changing.
Right. It's on the account, the YouTube account itself. So.
Okay. Well,
and I figured out who the person is. I still haven't heard back from him. I'll give him a while to get back. I'm hoping maybe they are actually hacked and not aware of what's going on. I don't know. And how I caught that was, like I said last night, that same person was on Doug's and in mine, but I had already removed the mod status. And when I went and looked at my mods, he wasn't there on either name. And I know this person was a mod originally. He was one of my first mods, actually. Now, they're saying there's a Kmart down in Effingham. Next time I go to Effingham, I'm going to have to go see. Oh, no, it says permanently closed. Never mind. So I put in, where are there still Kmart stores open? In Effingham. Oh, permanently closed. So that would be interesting to know. Let me bring up YouTube, bring back the screen here.
Yeah, when we first moved back out here and I needed a washer and a dryer, I bought refurbished ones from a place. It was a combination Sears and Kmart store where they sold returned merchandise.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so here's YouTube Studio, and to find out your mods, you go into YouTube Studio, and then you go over here to, I believe it's Settings, and then you go down to Community, and then you look at your moderators, and there's no rhyme or reason or order to this, but there's Robert, Darren, Catherine, Jeff, Tony. You guys don't know John. You guys don't know Ron. Wintermute, Gary, Alex, Matthew, BH Ringer, Greg Guy, my wife, Ellen K, Tim, Zavi, Chris, and Blackwatch. So Ling Ching Yu. Oh, by the way, Gary, I saw you snuck in. Good evening to you. Lin Ching Yu, Lin _ Ching _ Yu is not in there. Well, neither is, he was probably my second or third moderator. And then that made sense as to, okay, I deleted him as a mod. Now I have no way of knowing, well, do I have a way of knowing? So let's go back over to the dashboard and look at my subscribers. If you don't change your profile and leave it public, it will show up in here. So I'm going to go lifetime, and that person is not here. And I don't ever recall seeing that person in here when I checked before. No, that's my brother. Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to say, what was the deal on Alex's name there where it had unsubscribe over there? I know you guys explained that once.
Yeah, what that is okay, I'll go back into here. What that is I'm subscribed to Alex and I'm subscribed to Darren.
Oh, so that's your status on his account.
Correct.
Okay.
Now there is a couple more. I'm like,
got it.
Yeah, I don't see anybody else, but I've long since
I got him and somebody else subscribed to my account, and they're not going to live long enough to see a video. But that's all right.
Yeah, this is the next thing I kind of want to get in with him is really do a deep dive into this and figure some of the things out. The Zoom stuff I had pretty much already figured out on my own, so I'm good on that. I do know at the beginning of the year we're going to do a sub channel for me, and that's going to be more for the vet to vet, because we talked about that quite a bit, and I shouldn't be mixing this with the vet to vet. And then I've really got to go down and figure out what the carrot is to entice people to join vet to vet. In fact, I should pick Greg's brain and your brain. If you were doing a Google search and came across something that vet to vet type of a chat, what would make you click on it?
I'm not sure, actually. I've always kind of had this thing about, since I was in during the Vietnam era, but I never went to Vietnam, even though I was infantry.
Right.
I've always kind of had this thing in the back of my mind. I know it was just sort of luck of the draw, but like I didn't do all my part. And so I've been reluctant to engage with other vets who may actually have been in Vietnam. That may not make any sense.
No, it does.
logically.
It does.
Does, yeah.
But I mean, when I have interactions like on Facebook with other vets I know, and I know who was there and who wasn't, I mean, I have a lot of respect for the guys who were there and did their thing.
Yeah, you too.
And regardless of what people think about whether we should have gone or not, they volunteered or their country called and drafted them, and they went without too much complaint. I mean, everybody in the Army bitches about everything anyway.
Hey, true.
So, but I have most respect for them. A lot. Some of the ones I know, and there was a National Guard unit in the town where I went to high school in Kansas, and a lot of people, excuse me, upon graduation from high school, joined the local National Guard unit. I mean, that was the way to do your obligation, and there was small risk of going to Vietnam. Our Guard unit got called up and sent to Vietnam. And I don't know of anybody who was in the Guard unit there who said, well, I'm not going. I mean, it was something that none of them expected, but they sucked it up and did what they were asked to do.
Yeah, because wasn't the purpose of going into Guard was to not be sent overseas?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So.
And I'm sure you guys do know, the National Guard usually is called in a little bit before the regular Army is called in. I found that to be quite interesting.
Really? I would not have thought that. I would have thought Army Reserve units would have been called first.
Nope, National Guard. Then
The
Army
one
Reserve.
big regret I have about my service is that I didn't join a Guard or Reserve unit after getting off active duty.
Yep.
And the way I figured that out, and I could have gone back and taken advantage of it, but about a year and a half after I got out, I was called up from the reserve pool out of St. Louis to go to summer camp with a local National Guard unit where I was living. And when I was there, I ran into a fellow who had been in my unit when I was on active duty. And he and I were both E5s when we got off active duty, and he had already been promoted to E6. His promotions were coming fast in the Guard and Reserves because the Vietnam War was winding down at that point, and they needed people with at least some experience to fill NCO positions and stuff like that. And it was sometime later before that really registered in my brain that, I could have joined the Guard or Reserve and done my summer camp thing and the weekend meetings and been in and out and had a pension out of it without a serious risk of being involved in another war.
Yeah, I did my 9 years. I wanted to get my entire obligation completely fulfilled, which I did, and then I did a little extra. But looking back, I probably should have done what you did, but at that time I had no desire to do it.
But it was interesting. Both my brothers-in-law went to military academies. One went to West Point, and one went to the Air Force Academy. And my brother-in-law that went to the Air Force Academy, I don't remember how many years he served, 6 or 7, active duty, and then he joined the Oklahoma National Guard after that. And he served long enough there to get some retirement after he turned 65. But what was interesting, he was a fighter pilot, and he said when he served in the Oklahoma Air National Guard, he got more flight hours and the airplanes were better maintained than when he was on active duty.
You doing all right tonight, Gary?
What?
Are you doing all right tonight?
Yes, I'm just listening without interrupting.
Anyway, and he said the reason the airplanes were so well maintained, the guys who maintained them worked on them during the week as a civilian job. And on the weekend, they put their uniforms on and continued doing the same thing in the Air National Guard. And so they had an interest in making sure everything worked right. Those uh, who had any, I'm not sure what the word is, pride in their work or whatever. And he was quite happy doing that.
Yeah, my brother
And-
went in the guard, air guard.
And the last, I don't know, year and a half he was in, he said he flew a desk.
Yeah.
What happened was his guard unit changed airplanes. And he would have had to have gone back on active duty for 18 months and retrained in the
Yeah.
new aircraft. And he had a good, fairly high paying job in civilian life. And he was close to having enough years in to retire. So he decided not to do that.
And they probably wouldn't give him a leave of absence for 18 months and just stop everything, get back and start it right back up either.
Right. I mean, and so.
Hang
But
on one
nonetheless,
second. Let me
he
kill
did
the
something
camera.
he enjoyed, and
No,
after he
I killed
turned
the
60,
camera.
after he turned 65, I don't know how much he gets for the
Thank you.
retirement pension, but he's eligible for the military equivalent of Medicare, whatever that is, TRICARE, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and all of that.
Trying to figure out who we're missing tonight. Last night we were missing Jeff. I got Gary here. Robert's here. Alex is not here. He's over in the chat room I saw earlier. You got some
Well,
kind
was
of
he under the weather or something?
Yeah, he got some kind of a booster shot yesterday. He was telling me, and kind of knocked him out. Earlier today I laid down and take a nap. I didn't wake up for almost 5 hours. But it's kind of understandable, all things that happened from Sunday on.
Yeah, well, you've been under some stress, and you were
A little bit.
not getting as much rest as you probably would want to.
Yeah. I would like to see him go to 50% and then pull the CPAP off just to see what happens. As long as those numbers stay decent, then he's on the right path. But from what my sister-in-law told me today is at 60% usage with the CPAP, it's doing 60% of the work. His numbers are at 95. Great. Take the CPAP off. Oh no, they dropped below 70. Not great.
No.
So he's still on medications for the pneumonia, and you know right now that's probably 99% of it is the pneumonia.
Right.
They did put a blurb out that they don't want anybody to come visit because they don't want to run the risk of getting anyone else infected. So I thought that was pretty good. We weren't going to go anyway.
Let me ask you a dumb question here. There's two kinds of pneumonia, obviously, bacterial and viral. Is this, I assume, the viral kind since it's associated with
I don't
COVID?
know. I haven't thought to ask, actually.
I mean, the reason I think about it is my wife and I both have had the two pneumonia vaccines that old people get. There's one that fights against 13 kinds of bacteria. And there's another one that fights against 23 kinds, and we've had them both.
I see Kenny Witten has joined us in the chat room. Good evening to you, Kenny. Good to see you. There's Alex coming into the Zoom.
Hey, Alex.
He can't hear you yet, as long as he's muted.
Oh.
Hello.
I did learn
Yes,
that.
I can hear
Oh,
you.
you can't hear when you're muted? That
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
be. Yeah, when I
When-
mute
when they're
myself, I
first-
can hear you.
When you're first coming into Zoom
Okay.
and connecting to audio, you cannot hear. Allegedly.
Yes, but I heard him.
Okay, well, here's another technical question for you.
Okay, hold on.
Sometimes when I go into Zoom, you'll have a screen that says join with video.
Right.
Here, I'm not getting that, and I always have to go down to the lower left and switch on the video after I'm in your Zoom.
Alex, that's a question for you.
Well, I mean, you can go into your settings like I do, and have it automatically mute when you join a meeting, and have it automatically turn off your video when joining a meeting. And
Does
I
that
don't
assume
think-
that I've got a Zoom account?
Yes.
I don't have a Zoom account. I just come in.
So you have to, as far as I know, you have to be logged in to change those settings for those settings to take effect
Are you
before you join a meeting.
are you
Okay, I'll
using
have
the
to
app?
look in to see if there's anything I can do.
Hey, Jeff.
We have my wife's has a family Zoom meeting every 4 to 6 weeks, and then some of the doctors my wife sees use Zoom yet. And on all of those, you get this thing, log in with video.
Jeff, I actually might have an answer because I
Okay.
had a doctor the other day that I did that too. I have each keyword is different. I'll guarantee you that. In mine, it's function key F4, and it turns the video off.
Okay.
And when I go into Zoom, it asks me if I have video on, it asks me, do I want to use video? If I have video off, in other words, I can turn it on and off. That's what it's trying to do, turn it back on.
Now, there's
you
one
don't-
other distinction here. For Ken's meetings here, you send out this link. And by clicking on the link, I don't have to enter a meeting ID or a passcode.
Right.
It's in the link.
That's
It's in the link.
embedded in the link somehow.
Yep.
The password is encrypted in the link along with the meeting ID.
Okay, and then, but like when I do the doctor visit for my wife or the family Zoom meeting, it's they send out the meeting ID and the code, and you start up Zoom and you enter those manually.
Yeah, like Doug does.
So maybe maybe that has some effect on whether I join with video or not. I don't know.
I was just looking at settings on the app, and I don't see
Me.
anything.
Every
I mean, I don't
Every-
care. I just find it a curiosity.
every Zoom meeting has a link. You can either choose to send out the link or just send out the meeting ID and password, however they choose to do it.
Yeah. And then right now, until we get someone that sneaks in on us, it's going to remain the same. It'll be the same next month as it is tonight.
So, but rather than open my email all the time, can I copied your link out of the email and I stuck it in a Word file?
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
So I go to the Word file and I click Control on the link, and it opens it up. Control and click on
Yep.
it. So,
Why can't you make it a shortcut on your desktop?
well, I could do that too. Didn't think of that, but you're correct.
Or do what I do and put it on a folder on the desktop, or better yet, just put it on the desktop and really make Tim mad.
Yeah, I went to a doctor, just exactly what you said. HTTPS securetelehealth.zoom.usa and and the name of the lady and MHG, and that's all it had. Name of the doctor.
I'll have to ask the VA tomorrow what they're using. I know they're not using Zoom. They may or may not tell me.
Yeah. And there's another app. I may still have it on my phone.
How's the knee, Gary?
Doing fine today.
Good.
Indicator. Let me look. I got too many damn apps on my phone. I got more apps than I want to have.
I think we all
I
do.
do too.
Oh, there's one that's called Next Patient,
I like that name.
and it has a symbol NP. And one of our doctors uses that one. It's not one we go to regularly, but my wife has to see the pain specialist every month. You are not allowed to have a recurring prescription for certain pain medications. So you have to see them every month and get a new one.
That's actually why I saw the doctor on that.
So
So
question
when you get
question
up to
about
months-
your phone apps. Do you have anything on your phone that you pay your shopping bill with, or your gas bill with, or Walmart bill
Nope.
with?
No, I don't do any financial stuff on my phone at all, ever.
Me neither.
Uh,
So you don't have Apple Pay? Well, you have an Android, so whatever. it
yeah, I
would
got
be.
in. No, but so what? And this may sound paranoid. I mean, I use RoboForm I got the carry special on that for the
Right.
maximum time they would let me do it. And I have everything I go to on there except my bank and credit cards. And what I do, I have a separate encrypted text file, which has all the information to log into the bank and the credit cards in it. And whenever I want to do one of those, I open it up and I cut and paste all the information out of it into the browser and go there. Then when I'm done, I wipe the unencrypted file, and the encrypted one simply stays there. And I extract the unencrypted file out of it. So when I'm done, I wipe it. I don't really think that does much on a solid state drive, but nonetheless, I was in the habit of doing that.
So it's an encrypted zip file or something?
Well, there's an application called 002.exe, which was an encryption thing from Canada someplace that the company that made it doesn't offer it anymore, but it still works. And you drag and drop your encrypted file onto that exe, and then it asks you for the password twice, and it extracts whatever file you have. And like if it's a text file, which these are, then it opens it with the default application, whatever editor you use on text files. And then when you're done, they also, when you're out of the text file, it lets you wipe that file. It has a companion application which wipes the file when you're done with it. Worked quite well on hard drives. Solid state drives don't work in the same way. So I don't know really what's going on there, but
I did something like that with our school passwords. I had an Excel file with a whole bunch of randomly generated passwords for everything, and then I took that Excel file, put that in a zipped file,
right,
put a password on that zip file, but every password in that Excel file was different, and also so all of our school stuff passwords was in a Excel file. I password protected the Excel file, and I password protected the zip file, and both the Excel password and the zip file password were both 32 character passwords.
I haven't gone quite that long, but I'm around, I don't know, 20 something.
Because I kept it on the machine as a backup, and of course I sent it to
That's interesting.
Sent it to the IT person because the main password list was saved on my Google account.
Blackwatch was here earlier, Robert, and he joined the Zoom and he like abruptly left. I think he was afraid I'd lose power again or something. I don't know.
I'm really curious, and the only way I know this is to go up there one day. But I'm really curious if someone has went through and changed all those passwords, or if some of the passwords that I've set would still work to log into stuff.
Kind of lost me there at some point.
I said I'm really curious to know, but the only way I know is if I went up there. But I'm
at the school.
I'm really curious to know if some of the passwords that we set would still let me into stuff.
Yeah, I understand.
Because I'm just curious. I'm just curious as to how, because it'd be quite a bit of work to go through there and change all that. So I'm curious to know how much work they put in to changing what we set up.
I found a password generator online, which I used to use, and you could set whether you wanted upper and lowercase and symbols and all that crap in it and the length of it, and it would spit out up to 50 passwords at a time. And so I would simply run it, and then I stuck that in a text file, which I had in that encrypted zip file, not encrypted with zip, but separately encrypted after putting it in the zip file. And then I would just run through those. When I would use one of them, I would just erase it from the file. But now that I've got RoboForm, it'll make passwords for you,
Yep.
which I find quite convenient.
That's what I did. That's what I did with our website. That's the reason why I've got all of our password. The reason why I've got all the passwords saved in multiple places on my computer, on my laptop, on external hard drive.
Yeah, well, I've got multiple copies of all of these files. If I ever lose one of these, I'm SOL.
Me too. The only
So do you let RoboForm generate the passwords, or do you make them yourself?
So I let RoboForm do it.
Does it?
Then I cut and paste it, or copy and
Okay.
paste it from RoboForm into where I need it in RoboForm, or on these other things, I stick it in the text file and save it.
Yeah, I use Lastpass. I use the free version.
Well, nothing wrong with Lastpass.
Oh no, I haven't had any issues so far. Knock on wood, and I still enjoy making my passwords. So.
And yeah, one of the things I do in this encrypted file, where I have all the bank stuff and credit card stuff and all that, inside there, I also keep track of, say, when I got a new credit card, what the numbers are, what the special code is on the back,
Right.
the 800 numbers to call. All that stuff is in that same encrypted file. So I have it all in one place.
What happens if you forget the original password?
Well, until I go senile, that's not likely to happen. I'm using a combination of two shorter passwords.
Your name and the wife's
I was going to say Jeff
No.
and Ryman. I mean,
No, these were actually ones when I was working, I trained myself to memorize up to 12 character random passwords.
wow.
Well, and it's just entering it over and over again. Your fingers remember them after a while.
Muscle memory.
Yeah, muscle memory. And I had two of them I had used a lot, and I just combined those with a special character in between, and I never change them. And I don't think anybody's going to figure them out, but there is no perfect system. And I mean, these are like 20 some characters all together.
Wow.
And as far as I'm concerned, for home use, that's a reasonable length.
Well, they say
And
the
if I
longer
need-
the better.
And for all your passwords, all I need is one.
That's true.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean that's true of LastPass and RoboForm and the way he does it. That's true. I got the crooks all confused though. On my password book, I said these passwords do not work. Don't attempt to use them.
Hey, wait, you figured my password out.
And when the crook comes in and finds your book and uses it and it works, he'll write in there bullshit.
Yeah. He'll write in there, thanks.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to change all my passwords to some variation of I hate Walmart with the ampersand and the @ key and the 3.
I don't know about y'all, but one of our local Walmarts around here has went to not in Sheridan, but about 30 minutes away. One of the local Walmarts around here has went completely self-checkout. There are no regular.
That
Really?
doesn't surprise me.
That
That doesn't surprise me. Honestly. I'm looking for the day when we all go to Walmart and there will be no cash register, cashiers.
So you're saying Walmart has the same cashier as Amazon?
Yeah, basically, huh?
Yeah. I thought you was gonna say that you was looking for Amazon has these stores in certain areas called Amazon Go stores where you can just go in. They got cameras that track you all over the ceiling. You pick up something, put it in your basket, it adds it to your Amazon account, and then when you're done, you just walk out.
That's not beyond possibility.
Right. Doesn't Las Vegas have a grocery store that's similar set up like that, where you go through and you just?
No,
I thought they did.
they may. I'm not aware of which one it is.
Or maybe it was a.
I don't know if it'll be like that when it actually starts, but you know, I can see Amazon doing something like that.
Well, they already Walmart doing something like that.
I think the first one was in Washington or something like.
Yeah, I mean, Amazon already owns Whole Foods, right?
Yep.
So I can see them experimenting with that at some place like Whole Foods. Maybe not quite to that extent, but pretty much automated except for the stalkers.
I bought $100 worth of groceries today. That was one can of food at Whole Foods.
I just wonder what the theft rate would be, and I mean, because someone's going to figure out a way to manipulate that system to steal things.
We're all paying for whatever the theft rate
Well, sure
is.
we are.
Sure.
Go to CVS in San Francisco.
I don't like going. I've been to San Francisco about 4 times. I have no desire to go back. Twice in the military and twice with Lorna.
I've been there once.
I've been there a few times, 2 or 3 times to go to a convention. And when I was stationed at Fort Ord, California,
yep,
between Salinas and Monterey, I had an uncle who was very ill, who was in hospital in San Francisco. And so when I could get a weekend pass, I would go up there and go see him. And I would ride whatever the bus was from Fort Ord up to the bus station in San Francisco, and then ride a local bus up to his hospital. And although I was in civilian clothes, I was obviously military, and I had to ride the bus up through Haight-Ashbury to go to his hospital. And that's where all the hippies and anti-war people were.
But that was
I never had anybody I never had anybody hassle me. I mean, I just sat in my seat and didn't interact with people.
How many hours?
Oh, well, San Francisco was 90 miles from Fort Ord, so I'm saying 2 hours to go to San Francisco, and then another 20 minutes to get on the bus and go to the hospital where he was.
So you didn't go through every little town in between there and Fort Ord. You went a direct line?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Although I had another aunt and uncle that lived down in Long Beach, California, and one weekend I had a long weekend, went down there to see them, and I couldn't get, well, in fact, I hitched a ride with a friend from who I met on the post there. And going back, I had to take the bus, and I had to take the overnight milk run to go back that stopped at every little town between Long Beach and Fort Ord.
Those are fun. And
I got to, I think, Reveille, and you had to be out there like at 6 a.m. or whatever. And I got there at 5:40 and just barely had time to get back into barracks and get back into uniform and get to Reveille.
Yeah, I'd say. So Tony Waddle lives down by Fort Ord over in the ocean side.
Okay.
Yeah, nice area. Real nice area.
I will be.
Huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm going to be back in a second. Nature is calling.
Understand that. So, Alex, what was this booster shot you got? Not COVID related.
It's not a booster shot.
Oh.
It's called a metabolic or something infusion. It's through IV, so they poke you. And we all three had it done.
Okay.
But after we got home yesterday, my head was hurting horrible, and so I had to go to bed early. I probably went to bed about 9 o'clock.
these things happen. Or anything from the job front?
Only probably, 2 or 3 jobs have denied me again.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Robert's at work. I'll get an answer in text, I'm sure, in the chat room. I wonder what happened to Blackwatch. He was here and he abruptly left. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
My mom got another one of them test kits from the drugstore today delivered, and so now, now we found out that we all three have COVID.
Oh no.
Even though I feel fine, I just
Well, that's not good.
they feel worse than I do. But
That's still not good. I mean, that's not good at all. I had a real interesting morning this morning. Chris Garrett sent me an email and wanted to know if we could do a Zoom session because he got that laptop he was given working, and it worked just fine. I had a good 45-minute conversation with him.
So some of the things Doug said about that, and I guess he bought one and then he was given one.
Yep, he was given one and then he did buy one.
And the one he got for free, none of the USB was working or something. I didn't quite follow all of that.
I think one of them's broken on the one he was given, completely broken, and one of them is out of alignment or something. But his biggest issue was the one he just bought, one of the USB ports don't work. So.
Right, I saw Doug's video on that, but then he said that he wasn't sure he quite had all the facts right. Maybe confusing the two of them a little bit, and so. But
he's going to send the
model that he bought had Thunderbolt as an option on it, he didn't think Chris had that one on his or something. I don't know. So.
Alex, are you following along in the stream chat?
not.
Okay. Well, Matthew Camp just made a suggestion that he recommend you not use your personal address on a website that's public on the internet.
That's his web.
Well, that's my dad's doing. I put it there because he wanted it there.
That's his business website, isn't it? Or business address also?
I believe so.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So Gary did some research today, all of 35 seconds worth. And that's probably stretching it by at least 31 seconds.
Yeah, I understand where he's coming from. That's
Oh,
that's
sure, you
the way
got
my
to do
dad-
what you're instructed to do. I understand that. Anyway, it's interesting reading gun laws. I will say I was, whoa, had my eyes opened a little bit and I had to scratch my head a little bit. And
What'd you find, sir?
to bring a weapon in the state of Illinois, you legally have to have it unloaded and the stupid little dumbass lock thing on the trigger, and you're supposed to notify local law enforcement. So everybody's doing that.
I mean, there's no famous felony if that's what you're saying, and that's what I said.
Yeah, long rifles, pretty much. Yeah, you can carry them state to state to state, and as long as you are, how was that worded? A felon can't own a gun, obviously, so they get excluded anyway. But basically, that's what it's saying. As long as you can legally own the weapon, you're good to carry it across state lines. And then when you get into pistols and weapons you have to get licensed for, then it gets literally stupid. So,
Usually they do reverse back to your home state, but not always.
yeah, and there are 12 states, I believe, that you do not have to have a permit or license to carry a weapon in.
Texas, Florida, Kentucky, I think there's...
Tennessee, I think now.
Yeah, I believe Tennessee was one. I think Arkansas might have been one, if I remember right, or Alabama. I don't remember.
But
I'll
I
tell
have a
you
license. So.
something interesting I learned about that. In Nevada, it's illegal to own a weapon without a serial number, including long guns.
Most places.
Yeah.
They call that a ghost gun.
Well, no, I had one that had no serial number. It wasn't a ghost gun. It was a 22 rifle my father bought for me when I was 10 years old.
Yeah, 60 years ago. Sorry.
And it's not old enough to be considered an antique. And there's an exception for antique weapons on the serial number thing, at least in Nevada. So I don't own that rifle anymore. And when I sold it to a gunsmith in South Carolina when I was living there. And he just looked at me. He said, "You're crazy as hell to sell this." He said, "This is untraceable."
Keep this.
And I hadn't shot it in years and years and years. And I have a family member who's sometimes around who has a felony. And I have no gun safe. And so I just decided I would dispose of it. I hadn't shot it since, I don't know, probably 45 years or something. I had it and it still worked. I would always clean it and keep it in operating order, but I never had any ammunition for it for a long time. So I decided I'd get rid of it. And I just learned today, actually, I was reading something, and if you have as you say, like a ghost gun, it's illegal. So, and it wasn't old enough to be considered an antique, but still had no serial number. So,
Not grandfathered in.
Strange. Apparently not. I don't know. I don't own it anymore, so I'm not going to worry about it. But sort of a strange thing. Yeah, my dad bought that for me. He taught me to shoot, and we used to hunt rabbits and squirrels and whatnot years ago.
Yeah.
When I was a kid.
So are you gonna buy a gun now, Ken?
Nope.
Yeah.
Not planning the immediate future. I mean, that could
Yeah.
change.
No, I mean, not to correct what I said, not to correct. Long rifle, quote, hunting gun, you can go just about anywhere.
It's coffee time.
And handgun, if you have a permit, you can go just about anywhere. Or you got lock it.
I realize that, but just the stupidity of, oh look, I'm going into Illinois. Oh, I better stop at the state police post and show them my weapon, and it's unloaded, and it's got the carry thing in there. Nobody's going to do that.
And if you get caught, you're not going to jail. I mean,
No, exactly not. I mean,
oh, officer, I didn't know I was supposed to. Oh, you wanted to see us lock, and
yeah.
I mean,
Any cop with 1/3 of a quarter of a third of a brain is not going to enforce it, and he's going to say yes, and as long as things are good,
You'll come back a felon.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Now,
I'm not sure. Yeah, go ahead, Gary.
I was just going to say the last thing I'll say on what we were joking about last night is as long as you're not a felon, that puts a whole new spin on
Sure
gun
does.
as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you want to come to, Michigan and you're carrying a long rifle, a hunting gun, come on. We'll go deer hunting.
It's interesting. When I first moved to Nevada, it was 2001 when we permanently moved here the first time. I had this rifle still, and I had a shotgun as well. And went back to Tennessee, where I had been living for something, and got the rifle and the shotgun, which I'd had somebody holding for me. And I was trying to figure out how to get them back out here in Nevada on the plane. And what I ended up doing, I bought a foam-lined cardboard gun case for each of them and put trigger locks in them. And then when I got on the plane, I had to show somebody that they were unloaded and had no ammunition, and then they were shipped underneath the plane, but
Where you
I
couldn't
remember-
get to them.
right. And then I'm not sure if that would work nowadays or not. I mean, this is pre 9/11 and
Yeah.
all that sort of thing. And I remember
Definitely.
originally I had these with the locks in them, the trigger locks, and I'd lost the key to one of them. And I found out I was actually going to have to open them up and show somebody that they were unloaded. So I had to go to a locksmith and have him pick the lock on the one I'd lost the key to and buy a new lock.
Yeah. right before we left Vegas, there was a case where a child got a hold of the father's gun. I want to say he was 3 or 4 or 5, and he shot a kid that was 3, 4, or 5, and he killed him. And they actually ended up charging the father.
The parent.
Yeah. Do you remember that?
Yeah, vaguely. I think we've had more than one like that out here since the time I've lived here.
We have one in Michigan, literally a week ago. I don't know if you've heard of it, but we had 4 kids killed at a high school here.
Yeah.
Oh, is that
Oxford.
the one? Yeah, where they had an arraignment today for the parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been trying to figure out I understand them getting charged, but I guess they bought the gun for the kid, and the kid had mental problems. Is what they're saying now.
Well, and if what you read is correct, and you don't always know that it is.
True.
I totally agree.
that
Totally agree.
They knew, the parents supposedly knew about some threatening messages he had sent and bought him the gun anyway.
That's what I was told. Right.
And so that was the basis for the charge that, involuntary manslaughter or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me
Something
go
like
see if I
that.
can find this on the computer. You saying that about that reminded me of something I was going to cover tonight or go over tonight.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, we've had dinner with not a gang dinner. We actually know the sheriff for Oakland County because we're in Oakland County, Michael Bouchard. But now, as usual, it's the guns that kill the people. You know how many guns we have that are over 50 years old still work? Millions.
Oh yeah.
Well, when I was a kid, I used to use my uncle's and my grandfather's guns. My grandfather had a shotgun. I don't know how old it was, and I would use it occasionally to go hunting with. It was never was very successful with it. It was a full choke shotgun. It was meant for hunting ducks originally, so you could shoot something a long ways away.
Mm-hmm.
And I never hunted ducks, but I did hunt quail when I was a kid. And I hit a quail with that thing once, and there was nothing but a few pin feathers left of the neck and the poor bird. Since the shot hadn't spread out very much by the time it hit the bird.
I'm looking for an article I read earlier tonight. I've got to find it. It is hilarious. Okay, here it is. I have to read it from my phone because I can't find it on the computer, which is really stupid because it should be on the computer as well. Let me bring up. So, lawyer shares, quote, unhinged email student sent after she wouldn't meet with him. So embarrassing. A New York City attorney riled TikTok after sharing an email she received from an, quote, unhinged male undergrad student. Skipping forward, this 30-year-old Harvard Law School works in a corporate law office in New York, and somebody, a male, sent her an email asking for 10 minutes of her time, and she politely said, I'm sorry, I don't have 10 minutes for your time. Well, apparently she has a YouTube channel, TikTok channel, quite successful, and no, I haven't looked her up yet. But the guy replied with, unfortunately, she replied with, unfortunately, I don't have the time to do one-on-ones with everyone who reaches out to me, but please check my website, my TikTok playlist for some answers and common questions I receive about the law school and legal career. He wrote back with, I have an extremely hard time believing your, quote, following is that abundant. You have plenty of time for a 10-minute call. It costs you nothing, makes you nothing, but it makes sense. You're still young. You can tell these guys are Asian. You're still young and had to fight hard for the position, in parentheses S, you occupy currently. You become more charitable and, I can't even say these words, as you age and gain material success. The internet world went nuts saying this guy's a psycho and he should have never written that. And I'm thinking, they're both kind of out there in la la land, because why would you share something of this nature to people? She runs the thing much like, because it made me think of Carrie Holzman. It really did. As soon as I read that, I'm like, oh man, that's Carrie through and through. He's not going to take the time to deal with you one-on-one, but and Doug, he'll do a stream with you. It just struck me as so odd. So, I don't know. I look at things, I interpret things really strange. Personally, guy could have said anything he wanted, and I didn't think the email or the response was all that bad myself. Not, I mean, it was obviously bait. Gary, there's your thing again. It was baited. It was baited to make me look at it the way it was written.
Wait, I was going to yell at you about that. You said you had a stick to carrot out for the vet thing.
No, I was suggested to get a stick and carrot for the vet thing. I haven't done it yet.
Oh, I know, but you could use clickbait. Same thing.
I haven't done it yet. And the key word is yet.
Yeah. You just make it sound more enticing instead of take a nap.
I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Well,
so Robert just posted something in the chat room. Let me go see what that is.
I'm gonna say, you won't entice all the vets.
Oh no!
With whatever you do.
What is IMGBB? Is this an image that's broken and not coming through?
I
tried to copy and paste it.
It's IBB.
Now let me go. Just.
Well, it's a shortened. Should be able to click on it.
Yeah, it's his personal account, I believe, for something. I don't know what that is, so I'm glad I'm doing it on the monitoring computer and not over on where the world could have seen it. So I don't know if you want to leave that in there or not, Robert. Yeah, I clicked on it. And it takes me to IMGBB accounts, RM, and then your name, YouTube Premium. Oh, you have a YouTube Premium account. Maybe that's what it is. Add
so
account.
what's the video?
I don't know. If it's a video, I'm not seeing a video. Unless he gives me explicit permission to show it on the stream, I'm going to just keep playing around with it over there. So, yeah, I agree with what what Doug said. There has to be something, and if someone's doing a Google search and they stumble across it, hey, that sounds like that might be interesting, and then go to it. Be it a carrot and a stick type thing, I don't know. The switch thing.
I mean, just something making it not enticing, but there's this guy. I'm sure everybody's heard it because nobody likes him anymore. But he says 3 cars that'll last 300,000 miles. He's a guy in Tennessee now.
Yeah, I'm having a senior moment here. I know who it is.
Same here. But the bottom line is,
he's got like 3 million subscribers or something.
Yeah, but he half the time will actually say 3 cars will go to that. But the point being, he could say, I'm reviewing 3 cars, or 3 cars will go 100,000 miles, or add a couple of words there, and I want to watch it. Take a couple away, and I'll call you in the morning.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting. Some people get deadly serious about some things. That same guy we're talking about with the cars, he posted something on there. He had a big rant about cars with turbochargers. And
gosh, why?
As it happened, I have a 2014 F-150 V6 with 2 twin turbochargers. EcoBoost engine. And I posted a comment someplace about an issue. I had an oil leak in one of them. They had to replace one of them. And I made that comment someplace, and some guy that I have no idea who it is got on there and ragged at me and called me a damn liar and whatever, and said, you've been watching so-and-so's channel. And it was this guy where he went on and on about not liking the turbochargers. And it was just curious to me. I don't understand why this guy cared what my experience was or not. I mean, I ended up replacing one of them. I had a warranty on it. It didn't cost me anything but my deductible. But he swore up and down, and I explained to him what had happened, and he then came back and called me a liar again. So some people just get all wrapped up in these things, and
Plus, I mean,
know
I
why.
believe you. I've
you
heard,
know,
that's her new way of getting rid of the 5 liter.
I mean, I understand this guy, the channel he has, he exaggerates everything, I'm sure, to get viewers.
Right. But still, some element of truth.
Right. And so,
Not much.
and I didn't say what I said because I had seen his rant on it. I did go and look at it and found it. But I said what I said because I had one leak oil and the turbo went out and I had to have it replaced. You know? I guess it was a deal. Oh, I know what it was. Somebody posted a deal. Toyotas next year the trucks have dropped the V8 engine.
Yep.
And they've gone to the V6 with turbochargers like Ford and whoever else has done. And I posted on there that I didn't think they would be quite as reliable as the V8. And I set this guy off for some reason. You know,
My
it
question
is what it is.
My question is, how are they with towing or carrying heavy loads? Not, within specs. But
Well, mine tows a fairly big U-Haul fine, but I don't drive mine hard either. I mean, if you step on it real hard, it will accelerate. It's got good power.
Yeah.
But I try to drive it fairly conservatively, you know. Gasoline's gotten so expensive here. I mean, we're still over $3.50 a gallon.
Yeah, got it.
We're 334 here today.
And so
321. I saw it earlier here, and I paid 307 the other night.
So is it back up again or back down?
It's been varying a little bit. Costco and Sam's here have been steady at $3.49.9 for quite a while. A lot of the other stations are up and down following the market. Here in Vegas, I've been told, and I think I believe it, that regardless of which brand of gasoline you buy, it all comes in the same pipeline from refineries in California. And what they do, the tanker trucks that go to fill up have additives that they stick in their tank before they fill up, and then it's just the same gasoline goes in the tank and mixed with whatever brand's additives. They go around to the stations and fill them. So
I have read that also in Michigan.
So I don't know that that's right, but that's what I'm told. And I buy my gas primarily 2 places. If I buy my groceries at Smith's, which is a Kroger brand,
Right.
and I get gas points for what I buy. And when I have gas points, I buy gas at Smith's. And so I may get, 40 cents a gallon off or something like that. And if that drops it below what I'm paying at Costco, then I go to Smith's. If it doesn't, I go to Costco, you know.
You still got to buy groceries so you keep the points
Sure.
or whatever.
Right. I mean, and
Yeah, I've got the old Kroger Plus Shoppers card just for that specific reason, and then I've got the old Smith's credit card so that I get the rewards from it when I use it, because that's Kroger's as well.
And one of the things, an interesting thing that happened a couple or 3 months ago, somebody stole my gas points.
Really?
Yes, and
How do you do
see,
that?
your alternate ID or your shopper's card is normally your phone number. And so rather than scanning the card at the gas pump, if you know the phone number, you can just use that.
Right.
And so somebody at a Smith's way across the valley from where I live, who evidently knew who I was and knew my phone number, used it at a Smith's up in the northwest part of the valley and stole all my gas points. And so, but interestingly enough, I called Smith's or Kroger corporate number and told them what happened, and they gave me back all of my points.
Oh, nice. Nice.
And then I changed my alternate ID for my shopper's card from my regular phone number to a random number,
Right.
and I haven't had any problems since.
Now, is it an actual true number, or is it just a random number that you know?
Well, it's a true phone number for someplace else I used to live in the country.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be a phone number, it can be any 10-digit number.
Right. So you almost have to wonder, did someone start one night, go to a Smith's pump and go 702 234 5678? Nope, 702. You know.
Well, yeah, you wonder, and it's just on December 2nd, I got a text message from American Express alerting me to possible fraud on my wife's American Express card. Somebody tried to charge $515 on it to put money on Cash App, which is one of these apps you can have on your phone that you can use to pay for things.
Right.
And this was like fairly late at night, 11 o'clock at night. And it didn't go through, but they warned me about it. So I go and get my wife's wallet out of the purse, and her card's still there. So I call them like they asked me to, and they say, yeah, this really wasn't her. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at her card. And they said, okay, we blocked her card from doing, this was something that happened online someplace.
Right.
They say, we blocked her card from doing online transactions, but she can still use it in person until we send a new card. And I got curious about that, so I logged into our account. I'm the primary holder, but her number shows up on my account. This is an American Express card we got when we originally had it through Costco, and then a few years ago when Costco switched over to Visa. But we were able to keep the American Express card and get a different number with it. And I logged in there, and there was a transaction that actually had gone through. It hadn't posted yet, but at Metro PCS online, which is a cell phone outfit.
Yeah.
And for $60 for something, have no idea. So I called them back that same night and said, this other one's a fraud. And they said, okay, we'll look at it, but you need to call us back when it posts. And so when I logged in again the other day to see if it had gone through, it wasn't there. None of them were there. And I looked in the section where you ask for disputed charges, and there was nothing there either. So I called them. They said, yeah, it's all been handled. Don't worry about it. And we did get a new card.
Yeah.
But and I have no idea.
Does she use it out in public at all?
What's that?
Does she use it out in public at all?
No, in fact, my wife, being partially handicapped, rarely goes out except with me at all. I mean, I have these on there. She has a secondary card on these accounts. I mean, in case something happens to me.
Right.
And so I have no idea. I mean, maybe it's somebody just trying random numbers and stuff or whatever. Who knows?
Well, my wife had one. This was about 3 months ago, 4 months. She was out at lunch and used her card, and they called her back and said, somebody left your card here. Could you give us the card number to verify it? Which, of course, she did. She's not crazy, but she had the card.
Yep. Well, sometimes when you use it at a restaurant and they take it in the back, somebody may copy the information.
That's why I was even saying it out loud. That's what we believe. She's like, okay, fine, I'll call and have the card canceled, which of course she did. Or told them, what happened. So,
yeah.
So in a telephone place for $60, I don't think you get anything there but the cakes.
So, I mean, I don't know. Metro PCS, I don't know. They're owned by T-Mobile now. Maybe somebody was trying to buy a prepaid cell phone or something, or maybe tried to, and it didn't ever go completely through. It was showing pending for a while, and then it went away since I had called about it.
Now I
But
have
it's
a,
just-
sorry, Jeff. I have a quick comment. Just when you think here's my charge card or whatever. Thank you. Bye. I mean, you said it took a couple of days. That doesn't make sense.
Hmm.
I mean, you say it makes sense, but and good that you didn't get screwed over. I've had that
Most
happen.
of these American Express, of all of them I've found, and I say this when American Express was one that Costco used years ago,
I still say they're the best for that.
they protect you better than Visa or MasterCard,
Mhm.
I think.
Well, we have to pay on ours a yearly fee. I don't know if you do, but
No, this is one without a fee. They've tried to upsell me to one with a fee, and they've explained to me if I keep my spending the way it is, I would probably actually save money because I get more cash back with the card with the fee. But I guess I've been content with the way it is. I don't know.
well, I got
But-
my first credit
Yeah,
card.
I have 4 cards. 3 of them I use regularly for different things because we get different amounts of cash back for different categories on them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I have a Discover card, which I only use. It's our oldest card, and so it helps our credit rating to have had a card for 30 some years.
Right.
But
That's
they
still-
don't give much cash back except on specials. Discover on the card we have rotates through different categories. For 3 months, they'll give you 5% back on a particular category. So when they have one of the 5% deals going on for something I actually use, I use it. And then the others, I just kind of rotate through. One, the Costco Visa card for gas, and the Bank of America Visa card for something else, and the American Express for groceries, I think.
Now, do you find it's easy to redeem your points or the
Yeah.
rewards you get? Because
Yeah, these are all cash back. Costco, you have 2 categories of cash back. There's one you get from Costco itself for stuff you buy in the store,
right.
and that's relatively small compared to what you get back on the card. And this one, you get a certificate in the mail once a year. And it lets you spend it at Costco. But if you go in there and you got like $300 on the check and you buy $5 worth of stuff, you get $295 back in cash.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, I use it and I go in. If I need to buy something, I use it to buy it. And,
Sure.
and whatever's left over, I take it back. And the other 2 cards, I actually get cash back. The American Express card, I can use that cash towards the bill. Now, you have to say you're going to pay the bill 1 month ahead of time. You say, I'm going to do it on next month's bill.
Yeah,
However,
well,
I mean, it still goes towards the bill, so I don't care.
Wells Fargo's got to have a minimum of $25 of cashback rewards to use, which is absolutely ridiculous because I'll never get there. And then we have another one. I don't remember who it's with right now. It's either Capital One or one of our newer ones. And I got a thing saying you have $42.12 to use, redeemed before the end of the year. Oh, great. I'll put it toward the bill, you know? No, you can't do that. Or if you can, I can't figure out how to do it. One of the things
Well-
is they'll mail you a check, or the next time you go in the store, just use your points. I'm like,
Okay.
this makes no sense.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know, but you have to be disciplined about how you do this. But I pay my credit card bills off completely every month.
oh yeah, it's the only way to do it.
And I just save the cash up until I have enough that I can pay a significant fraction of the bill with it or whatever.
Yep, that's
And so that's what I do.
yeah. We always, when we get one, if we get one, it's going to have at least a minimum of 18-month, hopefully 24-month interest-free period.
Mhm.
And then, like you said, you pay them off every month, without question. You pay it off.
Right. And if you don't have the money to pay it off, you don't buy the thing. That's how I got myself, when I bought all the parts for this computer build, I didn't have quite enough to throw the graphics card in that month, and so I waited a month, and then that's when the graphics card shortage hit.
Yeah.
When I was first telling my mom I wanted to build her computer, she actually wanted me to say she wanted to she wanted to buy the case and then wait a month and then buy the power supply, wait a month and then buy the hard drive and all that. And the first thing I said, oh no, because by the time we get all the parts here and put it together, if something goes wrong, the warranty will be out.
Yep. Yep. That's true too. Never thought about
Yeah.
that, but.
So anyway, but that's just I just don't. Well, both my mom and dad lived through the Great Depression, and that's just how I was raised. That you don't buy something you don't have the money for, and you don't waste anything that you can reuse. And that somehow that never passed down to my daughter when we raised her. So
Yeah.
sort of different times.
Yeah, it's amazing what doesn't get passed down, or in some cases does get passed down. Again, I kind of would like to live long enough to see my granddaughters give my son hell when they get to be young adults. The goals we have in life.
It's like I used to tell my daughter when she was young, or when she was a teenager, I used to tell her, I said, well, hope when you have kids, you go through what I did. And then later on, told her, I said, I take it back. I don't wish that one.
Yeah. I think we've all heard that and said that at one point in time. That's true. So Robert said he accidentally exited out of Zoom and he'll join when we end the stream. Which, does anyone know how long we've been going? Let me go. You know what? I don't need to do that. Let me just go look at it.
An hour and 25 minutes, something like that.
Live stream. Good call, Greg. 132. Good call. Yeah, I wish I could remember that other one because it's got a significant amount on it too. And I'm like, cool, I'll just apply it. Wait, I can't do that. Now, I don't know if it's because there's no balance on those cards, and I'm not going to rush out to spend $40 just to use it.
Yeah. We had a Wells Fargo card that I let expire because we weren't getting anything back on it. And the only reason I ever had, and the only reason I ever had a Wells Fargo card is because the first house we bought in Las Vegas, we had a mortgage through Wells Fargo, and they just sent me a card without me even asking for it.
That must be a Vegas thing, because that's how we got our Wells Fargo card. Our house was financed through someone who sold it to Wells Fargo.
Yep,
and
exactly
we got
what
the
happened
card.
to me.
It must be a Vegas thing.
Yeah, I don't know. The realtor I used had a wife who worked for this little mortgage company. And she got me the mortgage. It took all of about 1 hour to do all the questions. And well, that's when they were just selling them almost as fast as they could throw them up out here back in the 2000s.
Wasn't 2007 and 8, was it?
No, it was 2001. So it wasn't quite when everything was really going nuts.
Yeah.
But, I said around 2006, 2007, that time period, I know cases of where if you were half an hour late to meet your realtor to look at a house, you lost the chance to buy the house because they actually were selling that fast.
Yeah. Well, because of all the, I'll just put it in terms of all the shadiness that was going on buying houses.
Well, I can tell you an example. A friend of mine that I worked with knew a lady that he went to church with here. She moved to Las Vegas, wanted to buy a house, and she bought a house through Pulte Homes, which was a big builder out here. And they had an arrangement with one of the banks to finance all their stuff. She came here wanting to buy a house, and somehow or other, she got conned into buying 6 homes with interest-only payments on the loans. Nothing ever came off the principal. On the mortgage payments. And I'm going, who in the hell does that? But it was crazy. When I came here, I took a conventional mortgage, and it was for so much money compared to what I'd ever spent on a house before. I had to use two hands to make myself sign the mortgage papers. And yet there were young guys working where I was working, young engineers fresh out of college. And the housing market, the value homes were just growing so fast. A lot of these kids came here, bought their first house.
I'm not laughing at you,
And-
Jeff.
No. And they had a 5-year adjustable rate mortgage with a balloon payment due at the end. And they signed these things. They were doing spreadsheets figuring out how much money they were going to make when they sold their houses in 4 years. I mean, I was making spreadsheets too, but I wasn't stupid enough to believe it was real. And even then, when the housing market crashed, it was about the time the project here ended and I had to go to South Carolina. And we let our house sit empty for 2 years just because the value had dropped so much. We were fortunate nobody broke into it and squatted in it or whatever. And when it came back, we made a tiny bit of money on it, $3,000 or $4,000 after all the expenses we'd had. But at least we didn't lose money on it.
Yeah, when we moved here in July, the realtor, he said, we knew it was sold, but the process of the paperwork, and we just had to put faith in things would work out. We weren't here one day, and we get a phone call from the alarm company. Your alarm's going off, la la la. So I called the realtor and I said, do you mind going over and seeing what's going on? I said, no, I'll have my assistant go over. And she did, and she said, no signs of anything being broken into or anything. So I thought, okay, no problem. Well, 2 days later, same thing. Well, it dawned on me what they're doing is, now that we no longer are there, they're going to have calls out because if the police come out, I get billed for it. If I don't respond in a certain amount of time, the police are going to show up anyway. So I called them. I said, look, we're in the process of moving. We don't own, we're not living in the house. Disarm the alarm. Shut it off. Do whatever you got to do. We can't do that, sir. Oh, well then, whatever you got to do. So, use my brain a little bit. Realtor still got the keys to the house, right? Go in there and disarm the alarm for me, which they did. So that ended that. But what did happen was the homeless encampment behind us that had squatted in the house behind us, they started jumping the fence, and they were helping themselves to our chairs and our tables and our barbecue and anything else they could get. And we know for a fact they got away with a couple chairs, but they didn't get away with much after that. So, man, companies just make me so mad sometimes because I should be able to tell them, shut it off. I'm paying the bill for it. I don't want it on. Shut it off. And they won't do it. They won't do it because why? They're not going to get any money? I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah, we had a thing. The house was sitting empty. And we left here the last day of December in 2010. Moved to Aiken, South Carolina, where I was working for a while. Got laid off in November of 2012. So couldn't pay the rent there and pay the mortgage on the house here. So we had to do something. So we flew back out here to see our new grandson. He was 3 months old or something at that point. And I called a realtor and get everything set up. He said, I can get you this much money if you agree to sell it now. And I said, fine, go ahead and do it.
Yeah,
So we ended up, and we sold it in February 2013. So I have my heating and air conditioning guy come and look everything over, but we're back in South Carolina. And so he's there making sure everything's still okay because we're going to have an inspection and all that crap. And I get a call from the guy, and we had, for the first time since we had moved to Vegas, there was a hard freeze that lasted 48 hours, and it broke the pipes on the lines that filled the pool. And while the air conditioning guy was there, he saw the water was running over. So he called me and he was kind enough to shut the stuff off for me. And then I had somebody come and fix it. But I was lucky. If he hadn't been there working on the air conditioning and saw the water running every place,
Oh yeah.
I could have had a hell of a water bill until we
Yeah,
figured
they
it out.
probably wouldn't have worked with you either. So, real quick, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. Matthew, thank you for being here. Kenny Witten, good to see you. Tony Waddle, as always, it's really good to see you. I'm working on the first one to join the stream award to give to you. It'll probably be virtual, but I do appreciate it. Robert, you can join us back in Zoom since I'm getting ready to end the stream. Blackwatch, if you're watching, you can join back in the Zoom as well. I figure he's probably sitting there watching. So thank you guys. I might be a little earlier tonight because Mrs. K took a vacation day tomorrow, and hopefully they're going to honor it. Don't matter, they're going to pay her either way. So if they don't honor it, she gets paid twice. If they do honor it, she gets to stay home. We get to go out and have a decent dinner or whatever. So
All right.
I will end the stream. Thank you so much. See everybody tomorrow night. And we're out. Or are we?